Yeah, absolutely. You know, the mentality as well. If I went along with it, you should as well. But the question is not whether or not you've got a chip. It's whether you're going to be targeted using it. I mean, if everybody has a TV camera in their home, that's one thing. The question is who specifically is being watched and targeted. There may be cameras in the homes of congressmen and federal employees, but nobody's going to be watching them because they're the quote-unquote good guys. The thing is, when a system goes in like this, it doesn't abuse everybody. It just abuses the targeted few that the government feels are a real threat.
Well, but I mean, everybody's read 1984, or at least knows what Big Brother is. Mm-hmm. Cameras in school bathrooms now, cameras in our homes. I'm sure you've seen the video of the police in Florida framing the poor lady because they run into her. And then, I mean, and just, it's funny, framing somebody, ruining their life. These guys have no conscience.
No, they absolutely do not, and there's no question this is a police state, and it's 1984 all over again. And again, it is a symptom of incredible fear and paranoia on the part of the government. And the more they do stuff like this, the more the TV cameras go up, the more the intrusiveness and the reading of the emails, the more angry the American people are going to get because they recognize it for what it is. The American people are smelling blood in the water. They understand the government must be very weak to be taking these kind of draconian measures to protect itself.
Well, also there's a psyop going on. I thought federal statistics were that crime had dropped 25%, and I was right. I hadn't looked at federal crime statistics for murder since 2000 when I was working on a film, and it was a 25% drop from 1982, the previous crime, manslaughter or murder statistic. And overall crime plunge from 82 at the peak of the drug war and all that, all the way down until the last time I looked in 2000, it was a 25%. It's 39% drop now in homicides. I was looking at these federal statistics last night. 39% drop, but Americans believe there are more homicides because the government and the media are lying.
Yeah, they're trying to keep up the level of fear. Government needs there to be crime in the streets in order to get us psychologically dependent on the police force. But the police don't actually stop crime. They're never present to prevent crime. They always show up after the fact, stand around in their nice, impressive uniforms and promise justice, which is a fancy name for revenge. But you know the old saying, when seconds count, the police will be there in minutes. More crimes are thwarted by citizens carrying their own firearms than by the police, and that is an absolute fact of life in America. And so as we start thinking about a world without a gigantic dictatorial federal government, we have to realize we can take care of ourselves a lot better than the federal government can take care of us.
And exactly, and I want to be clear, we have a great history of good police and military in this country, and there's a lot of great cops. I see changing tires and helping at car wrecks and helping when somebody goes crazy and kills their wife, and I've run into a lot of Austin cops that are great people. And I even like the Austin police chief, even though he does a lot of unconstitutional stuff. He really believes what he's doing. The issue here is, though, there are videos surfacing every day of cops framing people, and the cops are so ignorant and so calm and that's how normal criminals get caught, is they commit the crime so many times they get lackadaisical, they get overconfident. And their own squad car videos are busting them most of the time, where citizens now, more and more, or neighbors are videotaping with a camera, in the bushes or on their front porch and pick up the cops framing people. And I don't even play these videos here 9 times out of 10 because it's depressing. I'm not on some jihad or some crusade out to get the police. I grew up watching the police where I live deal drugs in Rockwall, Texas. The sheriff, while I was in high school, went to prison for dealing drugs. I knew. I was at a few parties, and I wasn't in the drug crowd, where drugs were delivered by police and sheriff's deputies. Because the older brother would be there with his girlfriend, and, oh, look, I got some ecstasy or marijuana from the cop. And you'd be an off-duty cop. And so then I'd see the same cop involved in drug raids at the school, and I went, something's wrong here. And, they've had cases in New York City where they fired 70+% of their detectives over drug dealing. Now they don't fire them. Remember the Luke Radowski footage? I don't know if you've seen this. It's in Truth Rising, Mike, where they march up, the police do, and say, we're going to say your backpack's a bomb and arrest you if you don't stop protesting. And they grab his camera and say, this is a gun. The police have reached a new level of corrupt when on camera they will frame you. I mean, and when you watch these cops framing this lady in Florida, it's funny. She's done nothing, and they're framing her, and they're laughing. I mean, that is scary, Mike.
Well, what it seems like to me is because of all the veterans that are being hired into the police force, it's not too surprising that the police are starting to treat American citizens the way our Army's been treating the Iraqi people. And it's understandable. I don't have to like it, and I certainly don't, but that's exactly what's going on. They're going crazy with those taser guns because they've been assured they're non-lethal. They're tasering pregnant women and grandmothers and dogs, and it's just this big old joke of, you know, pull the trigger and watch the people scream and dance around. You know, isn't that a fun way to spend Friday night?
Yeah, it's a crazy arrogantness because listening to these police videos, they are getting off on it. It's like they're crazy frat guys that have been given a lot of adrenaline and power, and they're going wild. Meanwhile, the citizens aren't. The citizens are really starting like the Hulk to, really start getting mad.
Well, that's what we're seeing in all these political rallies where people are screaming at the government because that's the visible face of the government. People are very unhappy with life in the United States. The government claimed to be controlling everything. The government is going to take the blame. The Democrats are catching most of it because we, the people, handed them Congress and the White House expecting change, and we just got more of the same. So like it or not, the Democrats are in control. They're going to catch the blame for this. The Republicans are catching it too. Americans are realizing it isn't one party or the other. It's the system as a whole has gone completely out of control. It's become fascist.
It has. Foreign corporate interest use the federal government as a giant nozzle to scoop up and suck up all our money and treasure and, most importantly, our freedoms. WhatReallyHappened.com is the website of our guest, Mike Rivero. He's a talk show host right here on Genesis in the evenings. He also, of course, is in the film Fabled Enemies by Jason Bermas. Excellent film. Folks should get at Infowars.com. We're going to come back, and for two short segments, because I got to let Mike go at 5 after Tarpley's coming up, and we don't want to abuse his time. We're going to take your call straight ahead on the other side. Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com, HomeGain.com. Check them out today.